Good morning, Your Majesties. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are new here, welcome to my YouTube channel and happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. Like I said in my last video, I'm going to be uploading Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you guys are getting 3 videos a week from me. So, unless I decide to come back up here and surprise you guys with something. But anyway, oh, I forgot to show you guys. Shirt of the week is my Texas shirt. King Father got it for me for my birthday. So, yeah, and also I had a really fun birthday too. We went to Texas Roadhouse. I rode on the bull thing that they have at the thing, like for everyone's birthday, they bring it over and they have you sit on it and they sing happy birthday and you're like, yeehaw. I had so much fun. But anyway, I have another story time for you guys. This one's called The Witching Hour. So The Witching Hour. In a small village tucked away in a forgotten corner of the world, that the clocks had stopped at midnight for as long as anyone could remember. The villagers in hushed tones about the witching hour, a cursed hour that lingered, a cursed, crap, where am I? A cursed hour that lingered, internally trapping those who were unfortunate enough to be awake in a twisted version of reality. They believed it was the work of a powerful witch wronged in her final moments, who had cursed the town to live in a perpetual state of dread as her last act of vengeance. Why are they doing that? Not Mika and Tashi acting out. Don't they know I'm working? Okay. My dogs are crazy, y'all. What do your dogs do when you're trying to do something important? Like, do you have dogs and what do they do when they're trying to do something important? Do they do stuff like this or do they just go crazy? Kind of like how my dogs are. Let me know what they do down in the comments when you're trying to do something important. Mika, Tashi. Thank you, King Father. Anyway. Okay. Sophie, a young girl with her restless mind and persistent case of insomnia, had never given much thought to the old tales. But on this particular night, as she lay in bed staring at the ceiling, she noticed something strange. The clock on her nightstand had stopped exactly at exactly midnight. She frowned and reached for it, shaking it gently, but the hands remained frozen. Curious, she glanced around the room, her eyes landing on the wall clock, which also displayed the same time. Midnight. Dang. Even the antique grandfather clock downstairs, known for its steady chimes, had fallen silent. A shiver ran down her spine as she peered out of her window. The world outside seemed eerily still, bathed in the cold silver light of the full moon. The village, usually so alive, even at night, with the sounds of owls and the distant rustle of leaves, was now silent. The moon hung high in the sky, casting long, haunting shadows that seemed to stretch across the village like dark fingers. Sorry. It's still early, you guys. Well, I guess not. It's 10 o'clock. Anyway, okay. Sophie tried to shake off the unease creeping into her thoughts. She pulled her blanket tighter around her, willing herself to go back to sleep. But sleep wouldn't come. Lovely. Instead, her ears picked up on something strange. Soft creaks and groans as if the house itself was alive, shifting. The shadows on the walls began to move, not in the usual gentle flicker of the candlelight, but with a life of their own, crawling across the room as if they were searching for something. Her heart pounded as she realized she was no longer in the familiar world she knew. She had slipped into the witching hour, a time when the boundaries between the living and the dead, the real and the unreal became blurred. Fighting the fear threatening to paralyze her, Sophie climbed out of bed, her bare feet touching the cold wooden floor, and she winced as the boards creaked beneath her. The air in the room had grown thick, almost suffocating, and it smelled faintly of something old, like a forgotten cellar that had been sealed for centuries. Good Lord. The door to her bedroom, which had been closed, we went to bed, now stood ajar, revealing a corridor bathed in moonlight. With trembling hands, Sophie picked up her lantern and stepped into the hallway. The shadows seemed to follow her, skittering along the walls, whispering her name in voices that barely rose above a breath. As she moved through her house, nothing felt right. The furniture was as new as if it had been pushed by some unseen force. The paintings on the walls, now duplicated, twisted, nightmarish versions of the serene landscapes they once were. The mirrors, which she had always avoided in the dark, now showed distorted reflections, figures that moved when she did not, eyes that glinted with malice. What the hell? Okay. Malice. The house was alive, breathing around her. The house was alive, breathing around her, and the more she explored, the more she felt the presence of something watching her, something waiting. Her heart pounded in her chest, a relentless drumbeat that echoed in the suffocating silence. In the dim light, she noticed strange symbols carved into the walls, cryptic. Ancient marks that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. She reached out to touch one. And the whispering around her grew louder, more instinct. The voices were no longer, more insistent. Okay. The voices were no longer just whispers. They were chanting, repeating the same words over and over, a language she didn't understand, but felt deep in her bones. Good grief. Deep in her bones. Okay. The air grew colder as she reached the house, as she reached the base of the stairs, leading to the attic, a place she had rarely ventured. The chanting rose to a crescendo as she climbed, her legs heavy, as if the house itself were trying to pull her back to stop her from reaching whatever awaited her above. When she pushed open the door, the air was freezing. Moonlight filtered through the dusty windows, casting long shadows across the floor. In the center of the room stood a figure, a woman with hollow eyes and skin like creaked proclaimed her presence so overpowering that Sophie couldn't move. It was the witch that everyone who had cursed the town, her body twisted and broken, yet filled with a consuming power. You've come, the witch whispered. Her voice ragged echo of something that had once been human. Another soul awake during the hour that never ends. Sophie backed away, but the door behind her slammed shut, trapping her in the room with the witch. "What do you want?" she managed to ask, her voice trembling. "The witching hour is eternal," the witch said, stepping closer, her movements unnatural, like a minaret controlled by invisible strings. "And now you are part of it. But you can choose your fate. Become my servant, and I will grant you freedom within this hour, or resist and be trapped here. Your soul bound to the hour forever." Sophie's mind raced. She couldn't serve this creature, but thought of being trapped in this nightmare. Never to see daylight again was terrifying. She gathered what courage she had left and shook her head. "Jeez. I won't be your servant," she said, in her voice firmer than she felt. The witch's hollow eyes seemed to darken. A smile twisted her cracked lips. "Then the hour is yours for all eternity," she hissed before her form dissolved into the shadows, her laughter echoing through the attic. The room warped and twisted around Sophie, the wall seeming to close in on her. She stumbled back, her head spinning, until she found herself back in her bed. For a moment, she thought it had all been a terrible dream, but the room was just as still, and the clock on her nightstand still read midnight. Breathing heavily, she turned to the mirror on her wall, hoping to see something familiar, something real, but the reflection that stared back at her wasn't her own. The witch's face, twisted and grinning, looked out, her eyes gleaming with dark satisfaction. Sophie tried to scream, but no sound came out. Oh no! Her reflection mirrored her terror, the witch's mouth stretching into an impossibly wide grin. She could feel the witch's presence inside her, twisting her thoughts, warping reality. She was no longer Sophie, the girl with insomnia. She was something else entirely, something cursed, something bound to the witching hour. The clocks remained frozen at midnight, the village trapped in the hour that never ends, and Sophie, or what she had become, waited in the darkness, ready to ensnare the next soul unfortunate enough to awaken during the cursed hour. Jeez, that is so scary. Let me know what you guys think of this. Oh, these bracelets too. My grandma Majesty got me these bracelets for my birthday too. I forgot to show you guys these bracelets. But anyway, that's gonna be it for today's video. So what do you guys think of that story? That story is good. See, I love reading stories to you guys. I never heard of it, but have you heard of it? Let me know what you guys think. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Princess Peyton. Hit the red button to become your majesty and hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a video. And I love you guys so much. You guys are the best human beings ever made. And you're the king of my heart in the song lyrics of Taylor Swift. And I will see you guys in Friday's video. Okay, love you. Bye. Mwah.